Hello everyone, this is Daniel Hall and welcome to our webinar presentation for tonight called Finding Your Public Domain Fortune Hidden Deep in the Archives of the U.S. Government Printing Office. And I want to welcome my good friend and, by the way, my personal public domain mentor. This is the guy that I go to. He's in a very close and a very short list of people that I actually listen to and go to with problems, and it's my friend Tony Leidig. Tony is is the man when it comes to public domain and knowing how to monetize it or make money from it. So Tony, welcome to today's webinar, and I appreciate you taking time out of your day to teach us this as well.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Oh man, this is going to rock, folks. I've been looking forward to this since we planned it like 3 weeks ago. So right. Yeah, this is you're really, I think you're going to get a lot out of it. In fact, let me go on to our next slide here. The first thing before we go much further, I will say that if you have not already got some way to take some notes, either a word processor or some pen and paper or whatever, you're going to need it. Okay, I'm serious about that because we're going to show you all kinds of good, immediately usable content like all of my webinars. Okay, so let's see if I can get our slide to advance here.
Yeah, try your directional arrows on your keyboard.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, tonight's webinar, like most of my webinars, does have a sponsor, and it is, in fact, Real Fast Public Domain. And you will, in fact, have, we'll make an offer to you at the end of this webinar. But like all of my webinars, you will not hear that offer until we have first thoroughly and completely delivered on our promise to you. Okay? So that's why I was said earlier, be ready to take lots of notes, because what we're going to show you is it's information that as soon as this webinar is over, you can immediately go use, okay, which is the criteria that I have. All right, but I do want to say that at Real Fast Public Domain, we show you how to find, publish, and profit from high-quality public domain content, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. Okay, so here's what to expect in tonight's webinar. Basically, in about 90 minutes, we're going to show you how to use the Government Printing Office and how it is, how you could use it to actually find good quality, suitable quality public domain content for your products. And when I say products, I'm talking about all of your products, from TV or from DVDs to CDs to MP3s to books to ebooks to online video to articles to blog posts, and on and on and on. Okay, so all of that requires lots and lots of content, and we're going to show you how to use the GPO, or the Government Printing Office. By the way, I call this the Government Profit Office, because the way we're going to show you how to use it, that's precisely what it is. So we're going to show you how to use the Government Profit Office to find all this great, good public domain content. Also, let me use there we go. We're going to show you how to use this site to find hidden gems, again, worthy of publication, because they're not going to bubble to the surface and be, usually, let me put it this way. Usually, they won't just bubble to the surface without you doing some digging and some specific type of digging and ways of actually searching, which is what we're going to cover again tonight. Also, what to do with the content to make money once you have found it. So we're going to cover that as well. All right. And then, in addition to that, because as you know, if you've ever been on any of Tony or I's webinars before, you know that we always give more. Okay, we give more than we promised, and we're actually going to show you a few profit-packed, under-the-radar strategies to help you make more money with public domain content. In other words, in addition to all the stuff that we're going to show you with the GPO. All right. So my question for you is: do I have the right audience? Do Tony and I have the right audience? Is that why you showed up? Is that why you're here tonight? Go to your questions box right now and type in heck yes so that I know that I've got the right group of people here. Did you see these several hundred hell yeses, heck yeses, yep, yes, yeppers, heck yes, right for me, heck yeah. Yes, you watching this, Tony?
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
That's cool. Okay, cool. All right, so let me give you just a bit of background on Tony and I. Now, you probably already know about me, but you may not know about Tony. But let's talk about some background first. First off, my good friend Tony Leidig is a recognized specialist at finding and using proven content from the public domain and is an expert at showing others how to create their own fresh hybrid information products of all types using that content. The fact of the matter is, and he probably wouldn't tell you this himself, but I will say it, Tony is actually the guru's guru. He is the guy that all of the, well, I shouldn't say all, but certainly many of the top gurus out there go to when they have questions or need help with anything related to public domain. So he's the go-to guy for the go-to guys. All right. So I just want you to understand the level that this guy is at. All right, and he's way up there when it comes to this area of expertise in the public domain. And for those of you that may not know me, I'll give you a little information on that. If I can get this thing to work here. There we go. And I am an author, speaker, nurse, attorney. That's right, an attorney, blogger, and publisher who, under the tutelage of Tony, started publishing profitable products using public domain content. And the fact of the matter is that it's Tony who is responsible for, I would just check this today, but it's Tony who is responsible for me having well over 2,000 titles in both my Kindle account and in my Nook account, okay? And that's a big deal, and that makes me a pretty good little chunk of change each and every month, and I have Tony to thank for it. So just want to make sure that you understand who we're dealing with. So here's what we're going to be doing in today's webinar very quickly. We're first going to introduce you to the government print office website. We're then going to show you some tricks in searching that website. And then we're going to do all right, once you've kind of searched it, what do you do with those results? And we're going to kind of take you step by step on figuring that out. And then how to get the PDFs. By the way, when I say PDF here, I mean a Adobe PDF document. It's like an ebook. How to get the PDF of that public domain content that you find on the GPO website. Because the really interesting thing here is that almost all of the stuff that you will find on the GPO website, even though it's usually advertising a physical book of some sort, because that's what the government print office does, it prints books. But the really cool thing, and a very basic foundational understanding that you need to have, is that all of those books, or certainly the vast majority of them, are or came from a PDF. Okay, so we're going to show you, once you find books that you're interested in, how to find the PDFs of those exact documents. And then what to do with those PDFs to actually make money with them. All right? All right, so with that, I'm going to turn it over to my good friend Tony Leidig, and he's gonna take us through the rest of this.
Thanks a lot, Daniel. All right, so the big idea behind why we even want to pay attention to government content, okay, is that almost all content published by the federal government is in the public domain. And what that means is that all U.S. citizens or those selling content through U.S.-based hosting and payment processing accounts can use the content in any way they wish without asking for permission or paying royalties. Now, the reason why that's even possible for us is because as taxpayers, you paid for it, okay? And that's a beautiful thing because, I mean, imagine this. Okay, so you go to Walmart and you buy a 60-inch flat-screen high-def television. You pay the money. You are now the proud owner of this television, and then you leave. You don't take the TV with you, and you get an idea, hey, you know what, I think I want to watch the game. And so you drive back to Walmart, and you look at your television there at Walmart to watch the game. Well, that seems a bit ridiculous, doesn't it? I mean, it's crazy because you haven't actually, you paid for something and you're not benefiting from it. Well, government content is the same way. Our taxpayer dollars have paid for the creation of that content, and most people just use it at face value for information, you know, to learn something about whatever topic it was created for. But the truth of the matter is, because of the copyright laws, you and I have the legal right to use that same content to create additional products. And that's an awesome thing. Now, if you live outside of the United States, okay, that doesn't necessarily exclude you from benefiting from this content. Why? Well, very simply. First of all, if you create a product and you have U.S.-based hosting like HostGator, which is one of the companies that I use. So you build your website, you host it on a U.S.-based hosting company, you use a U.S.-based payment processor like PayPal or ClickBank or a website like that, sell it on Amazon. Guess what? The content has never left the United States. So regardless of where you live, it's perfectly legal for you to use it using that method. And that's not a black hat tip or trick or anything like that. It's totally above board, completely legal. There's nothing wrong with it. So it's a beautiful concept because the U.S. federal government is one of the largest creators of content on the planet, and that's why it's such an awesome thing. And so what we're going to do is just focus in on one of those amazing little areas of content known as the government printing office. Now, one of the cool things that I discovered as we get into this is the first thing you'll see whenever you go to the government printing office is that the content there, it's all in book form, and you got to pay for it. Well, who wants to pay, you know, $30, $40, $50 for a book when you could get it for free? And when you can not only get it for free, but you can also then use that content to create products that are related to that. So that's what we're going to look at first. So the steps are pretty simple. The first thing you want to do is, A, find documents of interest, and we're going to look at the government printing office. Now, there's more government websites where you can find this content, but we only have time to really focus on the government printing office, and it's one of the better ones, so that's why we decided to focus on that. Second is to determine whether what you find is actually in the public domain, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Next, to make information products out of them, and that's why we're here. That's what we want to understand is, okay, we got this stuff, now what do we do with it? And then to publish and sell those info products to make money, and that's what we're interested in. Just like the example that Daniel gave from his own experience, this is something that he's been doing on an ongoing basis, and I'll never forget the conversation that he and I had whenever I told him some of these exact strategies that we're teaching tonight. Actually, it's one of the reasons why I'm teaching it. is I didn't see him physically, but I'm fairly certain he was jumping up and down.
You can be assured of that.
Yeah, because he had no idea that you could do what I'm going to teach you tonight, and he just went all over it. And as a result, he took what I showed him, or what we talked about. Actually, I think we talked about it in Vegas, and then we talked about it more on the phone, and just hit the ground running with it, and has really done a great thing with it. And so that is what we're also going to talk about. So the first thing that you want to do as we're going through these steps is we have to actually find the content. Now, I have a saying that I've said for years, and essentially it goes like this: you can't find what you don't know to look for. Okay? So, and think about that. Just let that sink in for a minute. If you don't know that something exists, now, granted, you can stumble into it, and maybe through happenstance you can find it. But if you don't know to look for something, in other words, if you don't know that a specific publication even exists, how are you going to find it? Well, chances are likely that you're not. I mean, you could do random searches and maybe you'll get lucky, but when it comes to creating information products, I'm not so much interested in luck. I want a predictable end result, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do.
I love it.
So where we want to go tonight, where we want to visit, is the Government Printing Office Bookstore. And this is the URL for it if you want to write that down. Or you can go to gpo.gov and just click on Bookstore. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually get my phone unstuck here. I'm going to switch over to that page. Well, actually, let's see what else we got on the slide here. Yeah, we're going to look at a specific collection, and I'm going to show you where we are. So here's the U.S. Government Bookstore, and you'll notice that they have new topics, new titles by topic, and then you also have all these basic categories here. You can do a search if you want, but how, other than keywords, how would you know what to search for? So I'm going to show you where I start, okay? And where I start, one of a couple areas, either bestsellers or special collections, and that's where we're actually going to look at first, is special collections. So if I click on that, you notice how they have featured publications, and that's something that we're interested in. And so, 9/11 was huge, 10th anniversary this year, and there was a lot of interest, people wanting to learn more about that. And so I decided that that would actually make a really good case study. So if we click on the 9/11 collection, and as we look down through here, there's several publications, okay? You have Pentagon 9/11, the 10th anniversary edition that you can buy for $46. You have the Pentagon 9/11 that you can buy for $23.25, and on it goes. $35, $17, $13. So the GPO is selling these books. And, they're allowed. I mean, it makes sense. They put all the time and effort into it. Of course, you and I funded it, but they still put the time and effort into it. And there's nowhere on here where we know how to download this book or, to find a PDF for it. But that's what I'm going to show you. So here's what I do. So pay attention. We're going to highlight the title, copy it, Control-C or Command-C, and if you're a Mac person. I'm going to open up a new tab, and we're going to go to USA.gov. I'm using Safari for all you Firefox people. Firefox got on my bad side, so I don't play with them anymore. And so I'll just paste in the book title into USA.gov and type in PDF. This is really simple, straightforward, but again, if you don't know to do something, you're not going to do it. We'll hit search, and we get one result. But that's the only result we need, because right here is our PDF. So let's click on this. And you can see where we can read this online, or we can download the PDF, and that's what we're going to do. Now, it's a pretty big PDF. It's 52 megs, and they're actually going to let us download it from here. Let's see, Pentagon 9/11. So we'll click on that, and it's downloading and doing its thing. So we'll let that finish downloading, and we'll go back, and I'm going to talk a little bit more while that's finishing the download. So essentially, the model that we're using, just so you're clear how we're doing this, we're using the government printing office, the GPO, to identify potential products for us, okay, to identify content that they have available, because we don't know. And if we don't know what to look for, how can we find it? Okay, so we're using the bookstore as a guide to let us know what's available to us content-wise. And I'm just using the 9/11 thing as an example. Then, once we know what to look for, then we'll use USA.gov, we can use Google.com, whatever the case may be, to type in the exact title in quotes and PDF to help us find the PDF. Now, one thing that I will tell you is that you're not going to find every book that's on the GPO. In some cases, they just don't make them available. And what I found is that usually if they don't make it available, it's primarily because it's not in the public domain anyway.
That makes sense.
And we're going to, yeah, exactly. And we're going to get into how to identify that here in a little bit. So here is our book. And for whatever reason, we're really zoomed in. But so this is the entire book. If we wanted to read it, print it out, or do whatever. And so essentially, just in a matter of a couple minutes, I know it didn't really take a whole lot of time, but just that quick, we have our first product that we've downloaded right here. Okay, so as I shared before, once we identify a book that we want to search for, then you can go to USA.gov, type in the title in quotes, plus PDF. Now, one thing, as I said, not in every case are you going to find what you're looking for. And one of the things that I recommend is really exploring this site, because there are a lot of books and publications on this site. I mean, these are categories. These are not books, okay? And so there's books on pretty much any niche, any topic that you can imagine. And it's just a matter of taking the time and going through them and identifying them, and then doing the search as I just shared with you. And this is just one site, okay? So you could also come over and do browse by subject, and here are all the different subjects. And so if you wanted to learn something, let's see, let's find something that might be fun and interesting. Let's say healthcare. So here's some of the different books that GPO has available on healthcare. Eat Right to help lower your blood pressure. Now that's just a little 28-page thing. And it's not that expensive, $4.75, but just for curiosity's sake, I have no idea. They're saying it's out of print, so that means you can't even buy it right now. So let's see if you can find it using the method that I just shared. So let's go back to USA.gov, and we're going to put that in quotes, and PD, you know what? One thing that I don't like about USA.gov is that they limit how many characters you can type in, so you just delete a couple and then hit search. Okay. So let's see, we got your guide to lowering blood pressure. Let's see if this looks like this might give it to us. Let's see. Oh, they don't have it here. So some of it is a little bit of just a dig around research kind of thing. Here's one guide, but I don't think this is the exact same one. Your guide to lowering blood pressure. So this is a nice little guide. So you can see where you might be able to get some content to create products from, right?
Well, let me just say something here, Tony, that because I want folks to completely understand the significance of what you're showing them here.
Okay.
The thing you need to understand is that by and large, this particular public domain content, that is the public domain content generated by the U.S. federal government, is in most cases very high quality material. The writing is usually really well done. Usually, it's you know, the what is being said is very very vetted, and that's another thing I really want you to understand, because I tell you, all of my folks, listen, you need to be putting out great products out into the world, and that means you've got to have good quality content. Well, we've just shown you here where to get really top level content, and as much of it as probably you would ever need for free. And that's really what I want you to understand. Okay, you got that, folks?
Right, and that's actually an excellent point, because for all the important reasons, the government isn't going to put out crappy content because of lawsuits and word getting out. So they're hiring the brightest minds, spending probably more money than they should to get some of this content created, but they have a vested interest in producing the best quality, highest proven content that's available. And that's one of the reasons why just to be honest with you, I go to government websites to find content before any other place when it comes to using public domain content. That's where I start, because A, it's awesome, amazing, high-quality content. B, I paid for it. Well, so did you, but we paid for it. And C, I mean, there's so much that you can do with them. We're going to get into that in a lot more depth here in just a moment. But even though the steps that I just showed you really don't take that long, I don't want it to minimize how powerful this is, because I just put an entire library of content created by the brightest minds in America into your fingers in the matter of, what, half an hour. Now, think about that. Think about how powerful that is. And that's just one website.
Just one of probably thousands. Probably thousands. In fact, I would say, we're well over maybe tens of thousands. I'm not sure, but I could tell you this, folks, that this content is all in the public domain because it was never eligible for copyright in the first place. Okay.
Right.
That means anything produced by the U.S. Federal government is in the public domain because you cannot copyright it, right? It belongs to the people. It belongs to the public. It belongs to you, okay, and me, and everyone else who is savvy enough to access it and to use it in their business, and to do so without permission and without royalty payment. Okay, so this is like, folks, with what we've just shown you here, we've got you swinging with a much larger bat. Okay, just understand. I hope you understand that. Do you get? Let me just check in with you. Do you understand what we're telling you here? Go to your questions box and let me know. Do you get it? Okay.
I think they're getting it.
Listen, from the looks of it, I think we are.
Yeah, and I'll share this. I taught this strategy to a good friend of mine about 1.5 years ago, and I worked with him to take a couple of these books that we found, not the ones that we looked at tonight, but some other books, and they published them in print form up on Amazon and then forgot about them. And so we were at an event together last November, and I said, hey, whatever happened with those books that we did? You know, did you ever make any money off of it or what? He's like, you know what? Dude, I totally forgot to check. Let's log in and find out. So he logged into his account on his iPad while we were sitting there in the back of the room and came to discover that just one of those several books that he uploaded had generated him $35,000 in profit over the previous year on Amazon. And it was a free download from one of the government websites. I don't think that's a bad thing. And actually, I think it's that story that got your attention, Daniel.
Yeah, I think that's the story. Yeah, in fact, I think Tony was that's the event where we met, right, last November.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
And Tony's telling me this story, and you could just imagine, you know, what's going on in my mind. I'm like, holy cow! You've just given me the keys to the kingdom. And,
right.
and essentially for the last year, I've been among other business strategies. This is one of them that I'm pursuing with, you know, full vim and vigor. Okay, because of that. And although I haven't probably made that much money, probably we're talking about between $1,200 to $1,300 a month trickling in, completely passive income. Completely passive, because like I tell folks. In fact, I was just speaking at Author 101 this was it last weekend or the weekend before last, and I was saying in my presentation, I'm a bit like a male seahorse when it comes to publishing. When I give birth to these books, I send them out into the world without any nurturing or love at all, whether to fend for themselves. And, you know, and some of them do very well, and some of them don't do much of anything. But the really cool thing is that they're all in the pipe, right? They're all in the pipe, which means, folks, that they all sell at different levels and at different times. But the key, this is like the long tail. The key is they all sell at some frequency. Whether it's once every 3 months or once every 6 months or 6 a day, you know, I've had all kinds, you know, of different titles doing different things. But because because there is so much content out there, you could spread a much wider net to catch many more fish. And as I say, I give birth to these books, and you know, they sink or swim.
Right. Exactly. So let's get back into this because we have a lot more to cover, folks. All right. So the big question is it in the public domain? All right, because as I shared before, most content is created by the federal government but not all of it is. And so there's a couple things that you want to keep in mind. Of course, we want to make sure that we're on solid footing with regard to it being in the public domain. And one of the things that I do appreciate about the federal government is that they are very clear about whether something is copyright protected or not. They make it very easy for us to determine that. And there's a couple ways to do it. First of all, if you download a PDF, like the one we downloaded a little bit ago, you can check for a copyright page in the book. And if there's one there, if it's protected by copyright, there will definitely be a copyright notice in that book, period. And if you find it, guess what? You can't use it. If it's not there, it's free and clear. And in most cases, they will actually tell you this is in the public domain. Okay? Or you can also check the website where you found the PDF to download. Very often they have the announcements there. And I'm going to show you here on the next slide exactly what you're looking for. So here's an example of what you would expect to find. This is a typical notice. This is actually one from the government printing office. So it says, unless specifically stated otherwise, all information on the U.S. government printing office website is in the public domain and may be reproduced, published, or otherwise used without GPO's permission. Now, I don't know about you, but as an information product creator, you're singing music in my ears.
Better believe it, baby. Better believe it.
Making a statement like that, okay? Because we all need content, and that's the short and simple of it, just like Daniel mentioned earlier. And so sometimes these notices can be a little bit challenging to find, but the best places to look for them is in the privacy pages, the about pages, policies, or FAQs. And I found more times than not they're in the policies section, but they're there. And another thing that you can do, and this is a little trick that, well, actually, you know what? Rather than just tell you, I'm going to show you. So, okay, we'll just leave that PDF there. So let's say we go to SBA.gov, which is the Small Business Association. Oh, helps if I spelled it correct, wouldn't it? Okay, so here we are in SBA.gov. So one of the things that you can do to find this quickly is to just do a search on the website. And so we could type in quotes, public domain, and see what happens. So we'll click search, see what kind of results we get. And we see here linking policy. So that's a policy page. We'll click on that. And let's see what we got here. So it's talking about external links, mandatory links, reciprocal links, reproduction of content. Okay, that's what we're interested in. Now check this out. Government information on SBA.gov is in the public domain. Public domain information may be freely distributed and copied, but it is requested that any subsequent use of SBA's information be given appropriate acknowledgement. So what they're saying is that if you keep using the content, give us credit for it.
Yeah, but honestly, it's a request.
Wall, you don't have to. Yeah,
that's right.
You don't have to.
It's a request. It's not. Right. It's not a requirement.
It does go on to say that you may encounter documents, illustrations, photographs, etc., that are owned or licensed or contributed or licensed by private individuals and companies and so on, and those may be protected by copyright. Now, one of the things that I found is that whenever you go onto a site and say there's a photograph there that they licensed or that's copyright protected, it always says copyright and then the person's name. So they are very clear about what is and what isn't protected by copyright. But I mean, just to take a real quick aside, I mean, geez, okay, let's explore this site just for 10 seconds. Writing a business plan, that might be a good thing to know. Essential elements of a good business plan. It breaks it all down, you know, so business plan summary, market analysis, so on. So we could click on that, and something happened to their website here, so let's go back and try this again. All right, we're going to skip that one. Let's try company description. Okay, so here is the information that you need to know about the company description. You can go back to essential elements, marketing and sales management. So they have all this information on marketing and sales management. All of this content's in the public domain, folks. Everything you need to know about how to develop a business plan for your business, it's all in the public domain. How to write a business plan, and you can go on establishing a business, preparing finances, business law and regulations, marketing a new business. A lot of us are marketers here. Developing a marketing plan. Government people, okay, experts have written how to develop a marketing plan. You think that might be good information for somebody? Sure, and it's in the public domain. It's right here on this website. You know, so you can see the power of it, okay? It's pretty amazing. I think so. What do you think, Daniel?
Definitely, but you know, one of the things I want to make sure that you're following it over so that you understand what's going on. There's really a two-step process. If you go, can you go back one slide real quick, Tony? Because I want to make sure people get this, because I'm not sure that they are. Go back one more. There we go. First you go to the bookstore at GPO, and then type in whatever you're going to type in, and then search. Once you've found what you want, once you've found something there, then, in other words, something of interest, something you want to find the PDF for, then you go over to usa.gov, you type in the title plus the word PDF or the letters
Right.
PDF. Then you search there as well. Okay? So that's how you do it.
Exactly.
All right. So
Exactly.
I just wanted to make sure that folks were clear on that because I had a number of questions on that because I guess we did it pretty fast. So I just want to make sure we're clear.
Right. Okay. So now that we found some good public domain content, now what? What do we do with it? Well, you have a number of options, you know, just like you would with any type of content that you have. So, of course, obviously, you know, I say this gratuitously for Daniel, but you could publish it as a digital book, okay, on the Kindle and Nook and so on.
Which is what I'm doing, by the way, folks.
Exactly. You can also publish it as a printed book, and that's what my one friend did. He chose to publish some of these as printed books. And let me just point this out. Just because the GPO has this in printed book form doesn't mean you can't do the same thing. Because sales are sales, and so whether they buy it from them or buy it from you, hey, you might as well steal, legally steal, I'll put it that way, some of the purchases that are going to happen anyway.
Oh, here's but here's a very important point that you just bring up, Tony.
Okay.
A lot of the publications available on the GPO site, although they are in physical form, you pay money for them. Many times they're pretty expensive. Many times the books they're beautiful, they're great, but they're $30, $40. When you could take that same exact book, put it into a paperback edition of the same thing, and sell it for $15, and you're gonna rope in all those folks, or you're gonna be the lowest price on the block. Even if they go to the GPO, even if they go to Amazon and they see it's on Amazon through the GPO, you're still going to be the cheaper choice, and that's what I want you to understand.
Right. Exactly.
And the other really cool thing about this, whether you do it a Kindle book or whether you do it as a printed book using print-on-demand technology, guess what? They're both set it and forget it type of products.
Free.
Yeah, they're just sit up there and make you money, or they don't make you money. But the thing is it's one action and the potential to make money month in, month out, year in, year out. All right. So yeah, that's why I get so excited about that, and that's why I absolutely had to show you guys this stuff.
Right. Yeah, because once you publish that book, whether it's in digital or printed form, you don't have to touch it ever again, like ever, and that's a good thing.
Yes, it is. So you go on to the next one.
I mean, and here's one good reason. Okay, we're talking about Amazon a lot, and of course, you're not exclusively limited to selling on Amazon, but you should be selling on Amazon because depending on the month of the year, Amazon's getting 75 to 90 million people showing up on their site per month with credit card in hand. And so if you don't have a pony in the race, you're not going to win. I mean, it's just really that simple. And to ignore 75 million visitors a month is kind of insane as an information product creator.
Absolutely.
And so that's one of the reasons why this is so important, because believe it or not, people are interested in the content we're showing you. They're extremely interested. And so that's why this strategy and method is so important. Now, another thing that you can do, very interestingly enough, is to take a lot of these books and create audiobooks from them. Now, this is something that our U.S. government is not doing at all. And one of the reasons why I absolutely love and adore this strategy, even in a day, no disrespect to Lon Naylor, but even in a day when everybody's talking video creation, the truth of the matter is that you can't read a book, you can't watch a video while you're driving your car, or while you're walking the dog, or while you're going for a jog. Oh, wait, that rhymes. How about that? You can't do that. But what can you do? You can listen. You can listen to an MP3 on your iPhone or in your MP3 player or whatever. And that's why audiobooks are so sweet, because it is the one medium that's never going to expire. It's never going to grow old, because it's the one medium that will go anywhere, regardless of what the people are doing. So, you know, if they can drive and put in an audio version of the book that you just downloaded from your from the GPO or wherever it is you find it, based on the strategy that we showed you. And that's what's really cool about this, because 99% of those books do not have audio versions, and that gives you leverage that just doesn't exist anywhere else. And I'll tell you, another thing that this thought just came to mind, and so I want to say it right here. Any action that you take with what we're showing you tonight or what we demonstrate in the real fast public domain that we talk about later, any action that you take gives you not just a little advantage, it gives you a huge advantage, because most people are lazy. They just won't take action. And that's one of the things that I haven't understood. I talked about this a little bit last night. You have people that work 40 hours a week, 9 to 5 or whatever the case may be. They work hard. They don't get paid a whole lot. Then they roll over into the public domain and start, or into internet marketing, and start creating their own products and start complaining because something takes a little bit of work. But what they don't realize is, as Daniel shared earlier, you're working once, and then you never have to do that work again. And that product is still out there making you money, and that's what we're after. You know,
exactly
we're
right.
after ongoing payment for work that you did once.
Yes.
And that's the beauty of what we're talking about here.
In fact, I call this, instead of the vicious cycle, I call it the delicious cycle.
Exactly.
Because that's precisely what this is, if you're working this right.
Right. Okay, so another thing that you can do with this content, again, that doesn't really exist, is to turn the content into videos, whether you're creating PowerPoint-based videos and screen capping with Camtasia, or you're creating mixed media videos where you would take, like, the images and do zoom and pan things like Ken Burns National Parks. You know, think about that series. And then have a narrator reading the words, kind of like the audio version of the book, right? Except you're creating videos from this content. And again, 99% of the content that you're going to find doesn't exist in that form. So it's very easy to create DVDs of that information that you could sell as courses. I mean, just using the 9/11 book that we found, you know, it's full of photos that you could very easily turn into videos that people would enjoy watching on their television.
Yeah, and the other really interesting thing there about that you need to know is that that once you have done that, you know, that there's so much that you could do to profit from it. If you get what I'm saying, Tony?
Oh yeah, yeah. Right. You can take one piece of content, one ebook, and actually I would recommend this. So let's say we download one ebook, you know, whether it's the 9/11 one or some other one that we found. Okay. So we find the PDF and we download it. What I would recommend doing is, yes, publishing it as a digital book, but also publishing it as a print book. Also create a book from it, and then take the audio that you read for the audiobook and turn it into a video. And so now one piece of content has become 4 products that you can sell.
Right, and the other cool thing with regard to the book, and again, turning this into a video, is you have the script almost right in front of you. So it's not like, you know, because you have the text, right? In some of these PDFs,
Exactly.
You already have the text
Exactly.
there. So again,
Right.
you know, that's what I'm looking for. What can I do that it's not going to require a whole lot of brain work on my part, or something that I could outsource to one of my assistants, right, to do this? Well, again, this is a perfect strategy for precisely that.
Right. Okay. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about something completely different. It's not completely different. It's still government related, but if I haven't tilted your brain yet, get ready to get tilted, because what I'm about to show you is really cool from a content perspective. And that has to do with a little-known content source. Well, it's known, but nobody's using it, called patents. Okay? And one of the things that's beautiful about patents is that there are 5.5 million of them in the public domain right now. And why that's such a big deal is that it's a massive source of content that nobody's using. I mean, you probably, if you follow the news at all, there's a lot of talk about so-and-so selling patents to so-and-so, and there's a lot of business edge that and business manufacturing that relies on the power of patents. But we are information product creators. You know, I'm not necessarily interested in creating, you know, a new kind of machine based on patents that are already in existence or whatever. I'm talking about information products, and that's what we're going to dig into. And so essentially there's multiple types of patents that are available. We're only interested in two. And the first type of patent that we're interested in is utility patents, and that is what the majority of patents that are available to you are. They're utility patents. And the lifespan of those utility patents are 20 years from the filing date, which means that if you go back 20 years, so 1991, any patents published or filed before 1991 are in the public domain, period. That's a really cool thing and a really good point. And essentially what a utility patent is a patent that's issued for the invention of a new and useful process, machine, manufacture, or composition of matter, or a new and useful improvement to one of the above. And so anything pre-1991, in this case, is in the public domain. As soon as the patent expires, it goes into the public domain. The second kind of patent that we're interested in are design patents. And design patents, their term of availability is 14 years from the date that the patent is granted. So sometimes whenever you file for a patent versus when it's granted can be several years. So the first one, it's 20 years from the filing date. The second one, it's 14 years from the grant date, whenever it's granted. And design patents are issued for new, original, and ornamental design for an article of manufacture. Now, there are several different websites where you can find this patent information. I'm going to take you on a grand tour here in just a minute. But there's three that I primarily use myself. The first one is the actual patent website, which is uspto.gov. And I almost never use this. And I'll show you why in just a minute. The second one, which is the one that I do use quite a bit, is Google. Google actually has a custom patent search engine, and it's at google.com/patents. And then the third site that I really like a lot is Free Patents Online. And they've basically taken the same information from the U.S. Patent and Trade Office and made it in a much more easy-to-search, easy-to-use form. So let's do a couple case studies. And essentially, when it comes to content from patents, you have two forms of content that you can use. One is artwork, because a lot of the patents include illustrations of what they're wanting to patent. And two, you have the actual text that makes up the patent wording, you know, that describes what they're manufacturing or what they're patenting. And so we're going to do two case studies. Now, the first case study we're going to do is images. And I thought since Christmas is coming, it might be fun to do an image search for Santa Claus, just to kind of give you an idea of what you can discover from an artwork perspective. Okay, so we are going to go to the Google patent site, google.com/patents, and we're going to type in Santa Claus. Now, this particular search is going to be pretty straightforward, but one thing that I've discovered is that while patents are keyword driven, you're not always going to find what you're looking for, and I'm going to explain why in a little bit. In this case, we should. So if we click search, what we're looking for are patents. A lot of these are design patents, but just to be safe, we're going to look for patents that are 20 years or older. Okay, and so you can see here we're at 2004. This one will qualify, this one doesn't, but why don't we restrict our search a little bit? So if we come over here to where it says any date, and we can restrict by filing date. All right, so let's say we want to go from, let's see, 1/1/1900, and 1991 is what we're interested in, so we'll go to 1/1/1991. So January 1900 to January 1991. So that'll keep us safe. So this is what we end up with. Now, all we need to do is start looking around at a couple of these. So we have, let's see, design for a baby Santa Claus doll. Let's click on that one. And you can see right away, you have the patent, you can download the PDF, and they also have the illustrations right here. Now that's kind of ugly. So that isn't necessarily what we're wanting to find. I want to show you some really cool illustrations that are available. Let's see. Let's check out this one. I haven't done the search ahead of time, by the way. So that's cool. You know, if you're a type of person that wants to create image-based products, now you might be thinking, what in the world am I going to do with the Santa Claus illustration? Come on. I mean, really? There's all kinds of cool little products that you can make based on illustrations of Santa Claus. You know, Christmas is coming. And there's amazing little stores where you can sell products like Etsy and Amazon and places like that where you can capitalize on all that Christmas traffic. All right, so there are literally thousands and thousands of patents that are related to Santa Claus. Let me see if I can find another one here. You notice how for Santa Claus, we have a lot of search results, but the word Santa Claus isn't in the title, and that's kind of what I was talking about before. Let's notice there it was even spelled wrong. It said Santa Glaus, G-L-A-U-S. So let's see what we got here. Okay, so here's an illustration. That's kind of silly, but let me show you something. If we click on Overview, and we come down through some of these other options that we have, like we have the abstract. This is the actual description of the patent itself. We got just the drawing. But those are all important, and we can definitely gain from the drawing. But if you click on claims, this is where, in this particular one, it's not going to show us much. But in normal cases, under claims, if many of the patents actually draw on previous patents, and they'll have those listed. Let me see if I can find a good example for you. Let's go back. I'll tell you what, let's go back to, let's try this one. Yeah, here we are. So you can see where there's a number of patents that have shown up later on that have referenced this particular patent, but it also based what it was doing on previous patents. Like here's one for collapsible decorative puppets, okay? So I don't know what that is, so we can click on that. And, all right, so there really isn't anything illustration-wise unless you want to make an owl out of paper. That could be fun. But one of the points that I want to make here is that you can then use the patents that you find to find additional patents, you know, whether it's related to Santa Claus in this case or something completely different. Like I did a search just the other day. What was that search? I think it was spaceship or something like that. I don't remember. Remote control flying spaceship, amusement ride, floating toy spaceship. Yeah, check this out. It's the Starship Enterprise.
Cool.
And this illustration is in the public domain.
In other words, you
You know
could
how,
do you could find other illustrations.
yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, let's see if there's any other reference to illustrations. I'm just curious, or any other
And
reference.
there's something I want to point out here is, first of all, it doesn't say anything about the enterprise. But remember when I was talking about references and all of that? Check this out. 1983 is still within our target date. The original assignee is Lucasfilm. Toy space vehicle. I wonder what that could be. And guess what it is? It's one of the frigates from Star Wars.
Oh man, that is so cool.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, for me, I love that stuff.
Oh, I know. And look here. We have Klingons.
So you
How
could,
cool is that?
yeah, basically you could make a well. Tell folks what they could do with images like this.
Yeah, sure. Well, the easy thing to do would be to put together a book, a collection of illustrations of, spaceships in movies, or, whatever the case may be. I did a case study a couple years ago on robots based on patents, and I was blown away by some of the illustrations that I found. And so you can see here, and we're just playing around here a little bit. I mean, with spaceships and Santa Claus, but of course, you could also turn these into T-shirts and other designs. Anything that you can use an illustration for, you can create products from it. And you can even think about sports things, like if you do a search for golf or tennis racket or whatever, every type of sports equipment known to man has been patented and includes illustrations of those objects.
Love it.
So yeah, so that's really cool. So the next thing that we want to do here, because we're want to keep moving along here, is we want to take a look at text. And I thought it'd be fun to do something fun and exciting along the skincare line. All right, so let's type in skincare. And so I have no idea what these are. I just thought of this as that this might be a good example, but let's type in, or let's choose, I don't know, just for, well, actually, the first thing we want to do is limit our date again. So let's restrict by filing date and do 1/1/1900 and 1/1/1991. Okay, so let's just take the first one just for the sake of discussion. So skincare preparation. Now, one of the things that I want to point out here, and this is going to vary depending on the type of searches that you're doing, but in this case we're talking about skincare preparation. And there's something specific that I want you to focus on here. First of all, the patent is made up of several different areas, okay? So you have the background, the summary of the invention, a detailed description of what the invention is, and it goes into, chemical composition, also known as recipes, by the way. And that's pretty much it. Now, in this case, they don't even have an illustration because it's skincare cream. All right, but if you are in this market or interested in creating information products in this market, I want you to take a look at the background of the invention because this content is pretty amazing. Like right here, it says, human beings have been conscious of and concerned about the condition and appearance of their skin since the beginnings of recorded history. Skin which appears wrinkled, discolored, blah, blah, blah. This sounds like a really good blog post to me. What do you think, Daniel?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if this is your thing.
Exactly. If you're into skincare, I just handed you some great content for your blog site or for your product or whatever the case may be. And so they actually, in the background of these inventions, go into a history and description of why their invention matters. And so what it does is, remember, inventions are created to what? Solve problems. Information products are created to what? Solve problems. So what we are doing is we are discovering and discerning the problem that they're solving And so they are really giving us the best wording we can use for our market in how to solve the problems that they're struggling with. In this case, it's skincare. Now, to me, it just doesn't really get more targeted than that. And this is one patent on skincare preparation out of thousands. So if this is your thing, you're probably not going to sleep tonight. Just saying. So it's definitely extremely powerful.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that is essentially what we have content-wise. We just wanted to really give you a couple really distinct focused strategies that you can expand on and run with to help not only create your products, but how to develop them, content for blogs and articles, all of that kind of stuff. And just by taking these two things that we showed you tonight, finding the content on GPO site and digging around and knowing what to look for on the patent site, you have a lot of fun homework ahead of you. And I will say that for all of you who actually don't sleep tonight or get to bed really, really late, it's not my fault. I don't take personal responsibility, but I will tell you that it's likely that you're going to lose some sleep because what we showed you is pretty amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And folks, here's the thing. What you need to understand, and because we're getting lots of questions on what about Amazon and what about what can I do with it? All right, let's kind of put this to bed once and for all. All right, for those people that are worried about Amazon and having duplicate content on Amazon, here's my response to you. When it comes to public domain content, you treat it in one of two ways, or both ways for that matter. You take the public domain content and you change it up. You add value to it, okay? And
right.
you make what's called a derivative work, okay, which, by the way, is copyrightable once you've done that. That's the first thing you do, and I suggest that be one of your strategies. The second thing, let's say that you find something in the public domain on one of these websites, and you want to put it up on Amazon, and you're saying, well, Daniel, Kindle doesn't allow me to put it up on Amazon or on Kindle. Yes, they do. Okay, I do it all the time, every day. But here's the rub. The public domain content, the only time they give you problems if yours is in addition to something that's already there. In other words, if you put up if you put up a title that's called "How to Sell Lipstick," all right, that's your title. That's what you're going and there's already 2 or 3 other people that have put up the same "How to Sell Lipstick" title that's also a public domain. Then they give you problems. Then they will say, okay, listen, you need to put in annotations. You need to put in 10 photographs. You need to do this other stuff. All right. But if you are first to the draw, first to the marketplace with that particular title, that basically establishes you as it basically kind of stakes your claim for that particular title on Amazon. So everyone that comes after you has to do all the other stuff. Okay, that's the rub here, and I want you to see the power of what we just showed you here. All right. So I wanted to get that out of the way. Let's see the other questions here.
You mean out of the 350?
I'm sorry, say again?
I said out of the 350 that we have in the pipe.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. And then but the other thing is, well, can we change it up? Can we change it up? It's in the public domain, and you can do anything you want with it.
Right.
Anything you want with it without asking for permission. Can you put your own name on it?
As a matter of fact, I encourage it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I definitely encourage you to change it up because, and that kind of goes back to, my momentary soapbox before, is that, if you take the path of I want to do the least amount of work possible and make the most money, those two don't work hand in hand for the most part. So if you're willing to do what other people aren't willing to do and work smartly and take some time and add real value, because this isn't about money, folks, it's about relationships. You know, if you buy one product from you and it's a piece of crap, they aren't going to be back. And so we're talking about building quality products that build relationships here. And whether the content comes from the public domain or not, that's on a need-to-know basis, and they don't need to know. Because ultimately, if they're happy with what you're delivering them, then why would they need to know where that content came from? I mean, really. A lot of the products that I have are based on public domain, but I don't go broadcast it. You know, and I don't need to. Legally, I don't need to. You know, I do believe in giving credit where credit's due at times, but there's nothing unethical about it or black hat about it or anything like that. The laws were written for this reason. And one of the reasons why the copyright laws were written the way they were was so that the content that is available to us, to you and I, in the public domain, so that they wrote the laws to help create additional innovation and to keep that original information alive and to create hybrid works and all of that kind of stuff. The government wrote the laws that way on purpose so that we would take advantage of it like this and create new stuff out of what's already been produced for us. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And then the other part of this, folks, is that I'm right marching in lockstep with Tony with what he's saying. But once you have changed the work, once you have changed it up, and I would say about 45%. Once you've added 45% more to what's already there, then that becomes what's known as a derivative work. And once it is a derivative work, it is copyrightable and therefore not a public domain document. As long as you know, if you take a public domain document, you add 45% of value to it. Now you have a derivative work which is copyrightable, and I would not claim it as a public domain document at Amazon. Okay, I want to make sure we're clear on that. All right. All right. Let's see. Let's actually get into. Let's see. Do I have control of your keyboard here? All right. So the question is, folks, have we delivered on our promises? Have we delivered on our promises? Go to your questions box right now and let us know. Yes, no, maybe so.
I think we've made a few people happy.
Several hundred anyway. All right, cool. All right, cool. Well, we're gonna get back to your questions, by the way, but I want to tell you about our offer tonight. And let me get into that and see if I can make this thing work here. How's that? Will that work? There we go. All right, so basically there have been two big reasons for this webinar. Number one, we wanted to introduce you to the money-making power of public domain content, specifically using the GPO-listed publications, which is what we started out tonight to do. Then we also wanted to give you a free primer on how to find this public domain content and give you ideas on how to convert the content into profitable info products. Now, I will tell you here, because even as I tell you about the offer, I'm going to continue to give you good, immediately usable content, like what I'm about to say right now. Tony mentioned earlier about the power of audiobooks. Okay, the power of audiobooks and putting up and selling, essentially selling MP3s. And here's the really cool thing. I'm going to give you another tip here. You could take the public domain content and basically read it verbatim into your voice recorder on your computer, and then take that and then save it as an MP3, take it over to CreateSpace, and upload it and sell it as an MP3 through CreateSpace. Okay. Now, I will tell you that the first thing that's going to well, they don't actually sell audiobooks. What they sell is music, but you could upload it through the music channels and call it miscellaneous and then general. Okay, in the categories, and that will put it in that category where all the other spoken word stuff is. All right. So, and then you can also put it up on iTunes and sell it from iTunes. That takes a little bit more tweaking and a little bit more, but I just wanted to tell you that I did this very same thing with the title before tonight's presentation, all right? And I just looked at my CreateSpace account, and I think I did this like 2 days ago. Let's see, what does it say here? It says submitted to Amazon. So in other words, it passed muster with the reviewers at CreateSpace, and it's on its way up to Amazon. So I just wanted to prove that it worked. I haven't started using that, but I just wanted to show you that how quickly you could take this content and make product out of it that you could then sell. All right. So let's see if I can get this thing. All right. Obviously, folks, information products have a huge market, and public domain content can be profitably used to make books, ebooks, CDs, MP3s, DVDs, online video, membership sites, articles, and on and on and on. Okay? And Tony, if you could advance the slide, that'd be great, man, because I'm having problems with that. Yep. Why are products so crucial to you in your business? Well, let me just tell you something, folks. As some of you may know, I started off my professional life as a lawyer, and I used to do lots and lots of billable hours. Right? I was basically, although I was highly educated and highly trained in my profession, I was still just an hourly worker by and large. And even brain surgeons and open heart surgeons and nuclear physicists, they're all, again, basically hourly employees, because that's what they're trading. They're trading their time for money. And in fact, we only have so much time in each of our days. We actually have 86,400 seconds in a day, and it's like a bank. It's like a bank deposit, and you get like $860,000 of seconds a day, right? But they never carry forward. Whatever you do with that day, that's it. So if you're trading time for value or trading time for money, it doesn't work out nearly as good as it could. And particularly when you understand that you never get that time back. They don't roll over. Your minutes don't roll over. Your seconds don't roll over. So therefore, when you're trading time for money, you necessarily can only earn so much because there's only so much time that you have. But that's not so when you're trading products for money. Basically, you can sell an infinite number of products with print-on-demand technology and automated order fulfillment. You could actually get all of this, and your time is not affected because, oh, by the way, folks, no inventory either. You're letting, the print-on-demand technology and, like we were saying earlier, this is set it and forget it type of an approach to making money, and that's a very, very important thing that you understand. Okay, all right, advance the slide. So what I want to ask you is, do you see why you need information products and lots of them in your business? Do you see, even if you're a coach, even if you're a trainer, even if you're a consultant, even if you're a speaker, and especially if you're a speaker, do you see why you need these products? And not only that, but you need lots of them, okay? Because each one of those is a line in the water. So we'll go to your questions box right now. Do you see why having products in your business and selling products, information products through your business is so important? If so, go to your questions box now and say, I see why.
And while they're doing that, Daniel, I just want to reiterate something that you mentioned there that's absolutely huge, and I think it's what everyone on the webinar tonight is really interested in, and that is to create products using print-on-demand technology and automated fulfillment. Your products are selling and being delivered to customers, and you aren't doing anything, ever, again, once they're up there. And that's a beautiful thing, you know.
It is a beautiful thing.
Because you're making money. I mean, that is making money while you sleep.
Literally.
Literally.
Yeah, and by the way, folks, I mean, I'm not up to the level yet, but my goal is I want to bring in $30,000 a month just with my public domain products, just with that one small part of it. And because of the infinite number of, or almost infinite number of public domain products or public domain content out there, it's entirely feasible. It's not going to be probably this year, probably not next year, but if you keep it up, you get rich slowly but surely. Right. And that's really what I want you to see here. Very important that you see that. Also, again, I said this earlier, that why do we use public domain, particularly U.S. government public domain content, to make our info products? Well, in many cases, it's quality stuff. It's proven content. Also, you can take that content and develop it into multitudinous formats, all selling, right? Books, CDs, MP3s, DVDs, etc. The same content, the same exact thing. Then you could distribute it and market it worldwide on sites like Amazon and Barnes and Noble, on eBay even, on and on and on. Okay.
Right. And one thing that I want to say here about that real quick, you know, we talk about Amazon a lot, and there's a good reason for that. You know, I mean, obviously you can have your own blog and your own website and sell products that way. I mean, and I would encourage you to do that. But the truth of the matter is, it's highly likely that you aren't getting 75 million people a month hitting your website. If you are, I'll give you my number.
Right.
We can talk later. But it's likely that you're not. But Amazon is. And so why not go to where the money is? You know, why not be selling information products created using the technology and the strategies that we showed you tonight? You should and could create products and have them on Amazon, on eBay, on Etsy.com, on Zazzle, on Cafe Press. Those 5 sites alone will give you access to 175 million credit card carrying, money spending customers per month.
Yahoo!
Just selling on those couple sites.
Absolutely. Okay, so take me to the next slide there. All right, so again, there's why use public domain to make info products? Production and fulfillment can be done on demand, no inventory. Everything is obviously or can be outsourced, and I'm doing this more and more and more. And by the way, it could be sold by you on your own websites and also at the back of the room if you're doing your presentations or if you're a speaker or even if you're just talking to the local Rotary or Kiwanis Club. I mean, that's cool as well. So here, it's for these reasons that Tony and I created realfastpublicdomain.com, realfastpublicdomain.com, and this is a very special deal because, and by the way, this is the only time we're going to make this particular deal because here's what you're going to get. First, I will tell you that this training we've sort of laid the foundation that's already there. But here's the rub, and here's why I want you to take me up on this deal that I'm going to make you tonight, because we're actually going to do live webinars next week. There are going to be 3 training webinars like this, but it's going to be hardcore, and we're actually going to go in depth and do step-by-step training on how to convert those PDFs. Remember, we showed you how to go find the PDFs, but we're actually going to show you in this training how to convert those into printed books that you can put up on Amazon, and it's really, really cool. In fact, this is the reason why this got created in the first place, because I was having a problem with the PDF, and again, my go-to guy, Tony Leidig. Tony, how do I do this? And he was able to show me. So that is
right.
really
And one of the things that I'd like to say about this, and this is why you want to catch this training, okay? That in addition to all the research knowledge and everything that I have for finding public domain content, before I did that, I worked as a book designer, as a career book designer, 18 years in the publishing industry, and designed nearly 600 book covers and did book layout and all of that. So I'm extremely experienced in how to take any kind of content and create printed books out of it. And so I'm going to be using that skill and expertise that I have to simplify the entire process to make it easy for you to do the same thing.
Exactly. Then we're going to walk you through the whole publishing process so that you can see what's going on, how to take these files and put them up on CreateSpace and actually make the government PDFs work, okay, on sites like CreateSpace, because if you don't go do what we're going to teach you how to do, they will not work. Okay, I can just guarantee you, it's just a big old headache. Ask me how I know. Also, we're going to do more in-depth training on how to take and use the patent information to make products out of it. And then in an additional training, we're going to show you how to turn government PDFs and content into videos, both videos that are online and DVD videos. So if any of you are in real fast DVD, okay, you're needing content, you need to show up and you need to take advantage of this offer. All right. Also, I'm really excited about this. All right. We're going to take you and show you how to use public domain films and turn them into picture books. Now, if any of you have ever been on my Real Fast Book bonus webinars or when I've talked about this, you're actually going to see how to do it step by step. Okay, and I'm really excited about that. That you're going to absolutely love it. That's like taking a book like Nosferatu, okay, one of the first Dracula movies, and making a picture book out of it, a coffee table book out of it. Really cool stuff. Plus, you're going to learn so much more. Okay. All right. So let's see. Oh, you're also going to get some pre-recorded training. So this is going to, step-by-step training on creating print covers in Photoshop. Step-by-step training on pageating your print books using InDesign. And we're also going to do a bonus training on how to prepare MP3s as podcasts and how to upload them to iTunes for sale. Okay. And by the way, this is what we're going to be doing next week. All right. The really cool thing that I want you to understand is that if you could be there, you could ask questions. We're going to take questions, and we're going to make sure. That's one of the reasons why we're doing it just this way, because we want your feedback. We want to make this product as robust and answer as many real questions from real people as we can, so we have that recorded and put in the actual training. Okay? So
exactly. Yeah, because we actually talked about creating all these videos pre-recorded. And at the end of the day, we realized that to get the biggest value for the participants we wanted to do it live. That way, it's likely that you're going to have questions that maybe we didn't think of or that you need more clarity on, and we want to be as clear as possible. And so that's why we're actually doing this live. It's a little more of a challenge to create some of this stuff live than it is to do it pre-recorded, but we're okay with that if it ends up being a better product for you.
Exactly. And I wanted the extra component of being able to use this as sounding boards and to get your questions asked in real time or answered in real time. So who is Real Fast Public Domain for? It's for those who want to quickly make high perceived value info products and to sell their products for higher prices. It's also for people who want to trade their products for money instead of trading time for money. Okay?
Right. So whenever you go to the website, we actually describe in a lot more detail what we're going to be talking about. We share some case studies of friends of ours and things that we've done personally with some of the content and the training that we're going to be giving you. But we describe in detail. Daniel shows some of the proof of what he's been doing on Kindle and Nook. And so we just really go into a lot of the detail of what you're going to get. And you can see right now the price is actually listed for $297.
I will say this, however, folks. You are going to need, in order to do this training, you are going to need the Photoshop, what is it called? The Adobe Creative Suite.
InDesign.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. It's called Adobe. What's it called, Tony? It's
the Creative Suite.
Yeah, the Creative Suite. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the 5.5. So you will need to get that. You will need to get that, and we show you how to go and get it. It's what is it? $99 a month to get that, or they can get it for a free trial, and then start $99 a month.
It's a 30-day free trial, and then and actually you can get it for even less than that if you just pick like Photoshop and InDesign. The cost is pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure people know that before we go, so that they understand. We're going to actually show you how to use those tools with this training. And I'm really excited about it. And I'm serious. I want every one of you that can hear the sound of my voice to go take us up on this offer, because this is going to blow you away. All right, so go to this link, realfastpublicdomain.com, and go grab this offer right now. You really need to get in on this, seriously. All right. Let's see. All right, so we're going to take some questions here. And, all right, what do we got? Question.
I'll let you field the
Daniel,
question.
did you want to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you want to explain that we've also created some special offers, upgrade offers for them, and what they are?
Yes. Yeah, sure. There are a number of ways to upgrade for those of you if you are interested. We have a number of different products that are there, and all you do is you sort of read what's there. I think we have real fast book distribution, which it normally sells for $197. I think that's available for $147, and that's how to actually get your books into retail outlets. We have real fast book marketing. I did that with my friend John Kramer, author of 1001 Ways to Market Your Books. And basically in that training, we show you how to sell between 100 and 200 books in a 2-week period, and do so with a very, very limited budget. So it's a very, very sort of a tight little program on how to accomplish that. We sell that normally, sells almost every day, $97, and this is I think we're selling it at $77. I believe it's we are offering it now at $77. That's one of the ways you can upgrade if you want to. Did I get them all in there, or are there others, Cheryl?
We had real fast DVDs also for $77 if you want to explain that.
Oh, okay. And yeah, we have a training with called Real Fast DVD. If you have not already picked that up, the lowest I've ever offered that is $77 to my list, and to Mike Stewart's list. And again, this is step by step on how to take your content, the content we just showed you how to go get, and actually put it into DVD format. Okay, so that's what the story is there. All right, so what else do we got here? All right, so yeah, well, let's start with the questions, and let me see if I can. We got a lot of them in here, Tony. So, and by the way,
I just looked at the number, so that's why I thought I'd let you field the best ones.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And by the way, when you go back, Tony, if you can go back to the sales page at Real Fast Public Domain.
Sure.
There it is there. It says $297, folks. It does say $297. Oh, one other thing, Tony. You know, I want to throw in another bonus. Because I'm getting some folks saying, hey, I can't be there next week. What about us? What happens to us? Well, let's just say you cannot be here next week. Tony, let me ask you this. I think I know the answer to this question, but
okay.
would you be willing to help and moderate a closed Facebook group called Real Fast Public Domain, so that we could, for those people that that need some extra help or can't be there next week, we could answer their questions there? Would that be cool with you?
Yeah, actually, I'd do that, sure.
Okay. All right, so again, for those, well, I'll throw that in as well. We will create a Facebook closed group, which means that only people that are, has not been created, by the way, yet, because I just thought of the idea, we will send out a notice to you so that you could come and communicate with Tony and I there, ask questions, etc. For those of you, I'll make it available for everyone, but it's primarily for those people that can't be there next week. Okay, that's what we're doing. All right.
Those are so good, Daniel. I'm glad you thought of that, because we have so much fun and great interaction. It keeps people active on doing these projects of theirs. That's the best thing about it.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been using that model myself in some of my latest products as well, and it just works great. I'm glad that you thought of it too, because I didn't even think to suggest that for this, but I'm glad that you thought of it.
Well, Tony, credit where credit is due. You gave me the idea for this. I mean, not for this particular product, but for some earlier products. You were telling me about how you were doing. I'm like, hey, that's cool. So I instituted it, and it's been working out great. So let's do it here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Real Fast Public Domain. Let's see. What's it? .com. It's realfastpublicdomain.com, Jan, is where you need to go. Here's a great question, though. MV says, can you use open source versions of Photoshop and InDesign like GIMP and Scribus?
I would think so, yeah. I mean, the technology works a little bit different. I've used both, but they're both also powerful programs. As a matter of fact, Scribus works very similar to Adobe InDesign as far as how it handles. The one thing that I'll actually be showing you in InDesign that, and I'm not sure if Scribus does this or not, it may, is how to auto-import PDFs so that rather than having to just import one page at a time, it actually, there's a special script that you, it's free, but you have to install it in InDesign, and it allows you to import multiple page documents in one shot. Like beginning to end, it imports the entire document in one shot. And I don't know if Scribus does that, but yeah, I mean the basic methodology that we're going to be teaching you can definitely do the same thing in GIMP and Scribus. Absolutely.
Although we're not teaching that. I want to make sure we're very clear on that, MB.
Correct. We're going to be working in Photoshop and InDesign, but the basic premise will work the same. You know, it's just like for instance, if you work with GIMP Shop at all, how it handles entering text is a little bit different than how Photoshop does it. But GIMP Shop supports layers and supports all those other things that we're going to be working with. So that methodology will work the same. It's just a little bit different compared to Photoshop. Same with Scribus.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah, go. Let's hear it.
I don't know if y'all want to do it or not, but a lot of people do use those GNU softwares. So perhaps we could just provide a resource for the GIMP link and the Scribus, I guess it is. I've not personally heard of that or used that one, but maybe we can provide a link to those folks who don't have Photoshop or InDesign, and then the extra one that you were talking about there for the ability to import the PDFs into the Scribus, and just provide those as resources.
Well, and one of the things that I will point out here, folks, is that you know, and I'll point this out as a challenge. Okay, Adobe is very generous at offering 30-day free trials of all their software. So we're going to be teaching this course 3 days back to back, and you have a full 30 days to take what we teach you and turn it into cash to pay for your product. And the thing that Adobe's doing right now that they didn't used to do, they started this in May, is that they offer a subscription service now, so that you can actually, rather than, you know, like I have the master collection, and you know, to buy it, it's $2,600. And I didn't want to spend $2,600, so I didn't buy it. But because of their subscription service, I have the entire master suite now on my Mac, and it costs me $129 a month. You know, why pay that much for my autoresponder, or not my autoresponder, but my shopping cart? So to me, that's a small price to pay. And that's the top of the line that Adobe offers. You don't even need that. You don't even need all those tools. So, you know, if you just went to get Photoshop, you can get Photoshop for like $30 a month or $35 a month, which is nothing. You know, cut out Starbucks for a week.
Well, yeah, I mean, the point here is that if you we've tried to show you how to do this, you know, with the least expense. But listen, folks, if you want to dig ditches for a living, you're going to have a heck of a time doing that without a shovel, right? If in other words, if you want to get in this game, you need the tools to do it, and they're so inexpensive.
You know, one thing that I was just thinking too, Daniel, while you were talking earlier, last year I had my house remodeled, and I was talking to the general contractor that did the work, and he does a lot with painting and different things like that. And I said, you know, you have your own business, so what's the startup cost to do what you do? And he's like, my tools alone cost me $30,000, you know, to get all the right tools and paintbrushes and all the different things that he uses in construction. It costs him like $30,000, and then there's the van, and then there's all the other stuff. And I'm thinking, holy cow. You know, my startup cost wasn't anywhere near that. And what Daniel and I are talking about, you're talking major low startup costs compared to any other business that you would try to get into.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's why this is such a big deal. You know, like go buy a franchise. You know, go start your own restaurant. You know, go clean houses for a living and get a decent quality vacuum that's going to do the job and stand up to day-to-day vacuuming. I mean, all of it costs money. And so what we're showing you how to do is to not be stuck into something that you keep having to work at day after day after day, but you do the work once and then you get paid for it day after day after day. I like that model better.
Me too. I show you in the videos that are already in the program, I show you how to go get that the Adobe Photoshop and everything that you need. So I step you through it, so there's no guessing, because it's actually not exactly easy to find or figure out. So again, that's already there for you.
Yeah, and actually there's a lot of training already in the members area, so it's not like you're showing up to a blank screen. There's already training that I've done in Photoshop and InDesign. There's training that Daniel has put up there. It's not like you have to wait till next week to get started with a lot of this. There's a lot of information already in place that we prepared ahead of time.
Exactly. And again, for the $97 investment, I mean, I wanted this offer to be so that there are absolutely no excuses, because this will be the last time that you will see this offer being made. Now we're going to make it in the replay, but once this class starts, that's it. It goes up to $297 and on up. All right, from there, because this is again, this is really training on how to be and how to work as a small independent press. Okay, that's essentially what we're showing you here.